Good morning. Welcome to this Sunday service with the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Reverend Deborah Kerr. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, your gender, whomever you love, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, welcome. If you're new to this community, especially if you're visiting for the first or the second time, I invite you to introduce yourself in the chat box. You can just type hello to everybody, and you should find a link there that will help you find out more about us. We're really happy you're here if you're new here. And we invite everybody who's here to a virtual coffee hour after this service. Information will appear on your screen at that time. Right now, all of our Sunday services and all of our programs are online. Our campus remains closed as we do our part to help slow the spread of the coronavirus here in North Carolina and in the nation. We have some fabulous offerings this summer. You can check them out on our website. I especially want to lift up Odyssey at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning when one of our members shares their spiritual journey. And Children's Chapel is at 9:30, and you can reach out to Julia if your family would like to do that at 9:30, followed by this service on Sundays. Again, during the week, we have some other fabulous stuff. Check it out. Reverend Stacy Grove is here with me this morning, and so is our tech team, and Sean Trimble, Jenny Jolly. And we send our healing thoughts to our worship associate who is not feeling well and so is not here this morning. But Kate Lewis is our wonderful musician, and we'll be using music from other sources this morning as well. So let's just take a breath together. Oh, just inhale in some of the light of this beautiful North Carolina July morning. And as you breathe out, just feel yourself settling into your body. Feel where your center is. It might be your chest, it might be your belly. Feel your center. And let's continue our service with the prelude. This is Chopin's Mazurka.
These opening words by Susan Magnin. Come into this room, settle into this chair, breathe into this body, the very body that will be you for better and for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Come into this day, raise your gaze into this light, this one steadfast sun who watches over all growing beings, even you, even now. Come into this heart and break into the boundlessness of wild beauty, no beginning or ending in you, but flowing through you like white water, reaching toward all that ever was and ever shall be.
L.R. Nost says, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. And so we light our chalice this morning. We light our chalice this morning as inspiration to let our own light shine brightly for ourselves or for anyone else who might be seeking. Our first song this morning is Come, Come, Whoever You Are. The words are on your screen, or will be on your screen.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, 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 whoever you are, condemned, worshipper, whoever you're leaving, God is no worshipper, lover is living, God is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, condemned, worshipper, whoever you're leaving, God is no worshipper, lover is living. Come yet again, come.
Oh, that caravan of despair. Ugh, 17 weeks. That's how long we have all been doing our part, whatever that part might be, to help slow down the spread of COVID-19. That's a bit more than 4 months, which is a long time. And the numbers in North Carolina are rising still. It is good, truly good, that we have been doing our part and that we've been so cautious. Back in March, many of us imagined that we would be away from public life for just a short time. But now the weeks have stretched into months. Graduates have missed graduations and the dances, parties, awards, banquets, and ceremonies that go with that kind of celebration. All of us have gone without haircuts and gym workouts. We see friends cautiously without hugging. We've canceled conferences and family vacations. And we now go to Zoom weddings and Zoom funerals. We keep learning how to do new things, hard things. And if we had not allowed this to sink in fully before, now it is really hitting home that probably nothing is going to change for quite a while. A couple of weeks ago, I had a really rough week. Maybe you did too. I'd been feeling physically ill around the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and others. And I was more furious than ever at the unpredictable, dangerous actions of the president, and furious that other national leaders are allowing him to abscond with democracy. And then along completely different lines, it finally hit home that I would not be able to see my family and my longtime friends this summer. And with that, I fell into an emotional hole that was about 22 feet deep. No light, no rope, no ladder. I realized that my woes are not as complicated as, they're not complicated at all by the trauma and stress that systemic racism and white supremacy add to what people of color are coping with, in addition to all of these things. When white people get a cold, Black people get the flu, the saying goes. And so I wonder, starting with the most impacted among us, how do all of us get through this time intact? How do all of us take a breath and regroup and keep on supporting the people who are fighting for their lives in the streets? And also now, once again, on the front lines in emergency rooms and intensive care units. One thing I've noticed is that the art made by activists right now is colorful and powerful. Street memorials are filled with beautiful, colorful flowers and messages and prayers and public art. Public rituals involving art and movement and meaning are happening. And the singing at the online Poor People's March in Washington was soul-stirring. Beauty seems to have an important role in protest and resistance. What might this mean for each of us as we yearn for the compassionate, inclusive nation that we want every citizen to live in with equal justice for all? What role might beauty play in helping us keep on keeping on till we get there? Our first reading this morning is by the Unitarian Universalist minister, Teresa Inés Soto, a Latina woman who uses a wheelchair. She's been fighting for justice all her life, and she knows that these big struggles can twist you at your core, exhaust you by the minute, and wear at your soul. She knows that as you speak your truth and fight for your rights, you have to find ways to put your own self at the center of the picture. Set your own standards of beauty. Love and care for yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Remind yourself that you are worthy of love and joy. Don't miss it. Stacy has the reading for us now. It's called Meant for Love and Beauty by Teresa Inés Soto.
I need you to know that there is nothing wrong with you. If you find the world congealed and unwieldy, you were never meant to serve money, to give loyalty to unprincipled power, to spend your joy frantically soothing yourself in order to tend wounds of being constantly dehumanized. I need you to know that your sense of injury and anger is not overdeveloped. You are meant for love and beauty. You belong where you are known and where your future is not just a resource, but a promise, which you begin to fulfill by being unmistakably, irrevocably yourself.
When the culture that you're living in tells a story that says that you, because of your skin or your hair or your features or your physical size or your language is wrong or bad or deficient or broken and less than others, how do you refuse such a hateful vision of your essential physical humanity? One way is by claiming yourself just as you are and seeing yourself as beautiful and good, and forget what the larger culture says. If the culture puts you outside the norm on the margins, envision a place for yourself at the center. You belong there. And then move in there with dignity and claim your rightful space. Western culture tells a story about scarcity. It says that there's a certain fixed amount of any particular substance and that you had best get your share before someone else does, or you will be left out. But other cultures tell a different story, one that Western mystics and poets also know. In this story, the world, in fact, the whole universe has abundance. There's enough for all if we figure out equitable ways to share so that everyone contributes something as they're able and everyone has enough has enough of the basics to meet their needs. Unitarian Universalists talk about drawing the circle wider, and that's how we participate in this vision of abundance. Just make the circle bigger. There's plenty. Come on in. There is a whole new generation of activists around the globe, most of them people of color, who are also reclaiming, defining, and living their own beauty out loud. And as they do, they manifest their own power in such compelling ways. They know that if they move into the circle with their full beauty and their full power, it takes nothing away from anyone else. It just adds to the collective. They enter to make the circle wider and more fair for all. It is so important for all of us that this is what they're doing. True beauty is deep and vital and real. And it's powerful because it is about something larger than ourself. It's larger than our self-interest. Beauty is important, the philosopher Elaine Scarry says, because beauty has the power to coax us outside of ourselves. It can allure us beyond the narrow confines of our own self-perspective. Beauty can pull us beyond our self-interests. And when we go there, beauty has the power to guide us toward equality and equity, harmony and balance, a symmetry of everyone's relation to one another, Scarry says. Beauty can stir us and inspire us in new ways so that suddenly we begin to desire, we begin to want equity and reciprocity. In other words, beauty can lead us beyond our self-interest to help create fairness and justice. One powerful thing you can do during this challenging time is to look for beauty by calling to mind things for which you're grateful, because gratitude causes us to see more and more goodness, and goodness just has a beauty around it. They go together, beauty and goodness. So a gratitude practice is a powerful way to connect with others, and it can lead to a sense of being deeply connected to abundant possibilities and resources and to a more beautiful world. Gratitude helps you notice all the things that support you, that fill your life with beauty and with joy. Stacy has the morning's meditation for us now.
I invite you to breathe easily and allow yourself to take in the beauty of your surroundings with all your senses as you receive this prayer. Spirit of love and life, with gratitude for the gift of this beautiful morning. I would rather not learn this. I didn't think I needed to. I thought someone else could do it. A leader would do it, or the professionals. Maybe the young people could do it, or the elders. I don't want to learn it because it means letting go of something I hold dear. Letting go of being someone who knows the answers. Letting go of the way I see the world. Letting go of how I might have to change. Letting go of certainty, of logic, of facts, of control. Of the myth that we can live on this earth and not harm. Or the myth that I can't learn anything new. Help me. Help us to listen to these signs of change and growth. To learn new ways to be in this world. To listen to my heart open. to listen with that open heart to others, to grow in understanding, and creatively to face these changes, not with fear, rather with courage, with compassion and love. Please. And then help us to live what we have learned and to do right by the gift of having been taught. Spirit of love and life, may we find the courage to stay the course, to be fluid with the many changes we see unfolding so swiftly. May we trust that our desire for wholeness and your love for that wholeness will guide us in our journey. Amen. Ashe. May it be so. The Irish poet and mystic John O'Donoghue writes, "There are times when life seems a little more than a matter of struggle and endurance. When difficulty and disappointment form a crust around the heart, because it can be deeply hurt, the heart hardens. There are corners in every heart which are utterly devoid of illumination, places where we know and remember the nature of devastation. Yet through the music of the heart may grow faint, there is in each of us an unprotected place that beauty can always reach out and touch." Blaise Pascal said, "In difficult times, you should always carry something beautiful in your mind." Rilke said that during such times, we should endeavor to stay close to one simple thing in nature. When the mind is festering with trouble or the heart torn, we can find healing among the silence of mountains or fields, or listen to the simple steadying rhythm of the waves. The slowness and stillness gradually take us over. Our breathing deepens, our hearts calm, and our hungers relent. When serenity is restored, new perspectives open to us, and difficulty can begin to seem like an invitation to new growth. Beneath the frenetic streams of thought, the quieter, elemental nature of the self takes over and calms our presence. Rather than taking us out of ourselves, nature coaxes us deeper inward, teaches us to rest in the serenity of our elemental nature. When we go out among nature, clay is returning to clay. We are returning to participate in the stillness of the earth which first dreamed us. Solitude gradually clarifies the heart until a true tranquility is reached. The irony is that in the heart of that aloneness, you feel intimately connected with the world.
O'Donoghue, excuse me. O'Donoghue says that the beauty of nature is healing because we are nature. And so we resonate with it. If we get quiet, something in the larger world will reorganize us. It will put us into a new order inside, he says, and that will lead us to a renewed wholeness. And so in the presence of the world's natural beauty, we heal, whether it's July's late afternoon, tall blue thunderheads, or the 11 shades of green in one small patch of a garden, or the way that the wind sculpts rock and sand in the desert, or ice and snow in the Arctic. Especially in times of loss or struggle, we can pay attention to the natural rise and fall, the ebb and flow that just naturally occurs with all things in time. And we can begin to let go of anything that no longer fits, no longer serves us, that is no longer relevant. As we do this, the truth and the love at the heart of our experience remains. It actually takes center stage where it actually belongs. The teacher and writer Patricia Adams Farmer says that beauty is powerful, that when we are drawn in by it, it becomes a sacred container that holds everything, including contradictions, differences that are impossibly true at the same time. And this sets up great tension so much that pressure builds. And if we're able to stay with it, something completely new and different might emerge from it. Farmer says that in this sense, beauty that we enter into is more than a beautiful place. It's more than beautiful music or even beautiful people. Beauty is the integration of grief and hope, terror and peace, fear and love into a larger frame, a frame that allows for intense harmonies, not necessarily easy ones. So she's saying beauty is this integration of opposites, and out of this, something new, something more complex emerges, more complex harmonies, greater capacity emerges. This is what the activist Adrienne Marie Brown says too, especially in the work of liberating Black and Brown communities. She says, if there happens to be a multitude of griefs upon you, individual and collective, fast and slow, small and large, add equal parts of these considerations, that the broken heart can cover more territory, that perhaps love can only be as large as grief demands, that grief is the growing up of the heart that bursts boundaries like an old skin or a finished life, that grief is gratitude, that water seeks scale, that even your tears seek the recognition of community, that the heart is a front line and that the fight is to feel in a world of distraction, that your grief is a worthwhile use of your time, that your body will only feel as much as it is able to feel, that the ones you grieve may be grieving you, that the sacred comes from limitations, that you are excellent at loving. Adrienne Marie Brown. I love it. The heart is a front line and the fight is to feel in a world of distraction. Wow. Our grief can be one of the paradoxical ingredients that can lead us to a larger, more inclusive, more loving spaciousness within ourselves, within the universe. The cosmologist Brian Swimme reminds us that humans are an integral part of this living universe. We have seething through us, he says, the creativity that built the stars. The worst mistake we can make is to fence in our possibilities. Playing small is the worst thing that we can do, he says. And so we ought never play small. And it behooves us to welcome new insights that might come to mind after we have spent time in a garden or a museum, or after we've been to an innovative performance, or after we've been moved by a new artist or activist, someone we didn't know before. And even if we find this odd, we could stick around when we suddenly find ourselves in a garden of new, complicated feelings. We could pay attention. And then if we bring our questions and ideas to others in community, we can work together on them and see what revolutionary love might come bubbling up from amid these tensions. If it sounds far-fetched, it's really right here all around us right now. Some of the best examples that immediately come to mind are the Black Lives Matter movement. Another is the Forward Together movement. And another is the Poor People's Campaign. All of these things began when people who had been told that they were worthless came together and shared what they were feeling and what they were thinking. They listened to each other, and out of their listening came planning and invitation to others to join them in the work for change. And now here we all are, all of us invited to join in with them to help create a new world where policing is nonviolent. Policing actually supports the community, where reparations help rebalance wealth, where a living wage and healthcare and voting rights are assured, and participation by all is possible. And it's a better world because we do. We don't have to know what to do. We don't have to arrive with answers. We just have to show up with our yearnings, our hope, our love, our questions, and then trust the process. If we listen when others speak their truth, and if we answer from that same depth and honesty within ourselves, something will happen. It always does. And then if we write new songs and make colorful new banners and new public art, new public rituals, if we share our food and create mandalas out of the millions of flowers laid down at the scenes of public atrocities, together, we can make change that includes everyone, no one left out. That's how we make the circle larger. And guess what? We can even do this online. Our life can continue over the phone, in online spaces where we're learning to communicate more efficiently. Focus in on the heart of the matter. Yesterday morning, 18 people checked into a spirituality class in 15 minutes. We can do this, people. We can have a meaningful life together, even if we're forced to stay apart. We can practice. You can use this space as practice to focus in on what's most essential. We can let go of some of our noise. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "For the world is not painted or adorned, but is from the beginning beautiful. And God has not made some beautiful things, but beauty is the creator of the universe." In essence, Emerson says that beauty is another name for the creator, meaning genuine beauty has an ultimate quality to it. And when we pay attention to it, beauty can pull us forward into a new order of justice and equity and compassion, a greater goodness for everyone, no exceptions. And when our actions come from this place, we too might become co-creators of the new world that is just waiting to be born. May we find ways to listen, join together, even online, and help it emerge into our world that is waiting with such great need and such great hope, a belief that anything is possible. The future is not written yet. Ashe. Amen. Bless. What a gorgeous reminder that our brokenness is nothing that we have to hide or be ashamed of. We can gather up all those pieces, those fragments, and put them into a new order that is still beautiful and strong in the broken places. It's true for us as individuals and also for us as a culture. We can do these things. We can do these things together. And we give thanks for the support of our members that makes it possible for us to do this together with each other and also as part of the larger community. We give thanks for all the gifts. Amen. Our last hymn this morning is "For the Beauty of the Earth." The words appear on the screen and you could sing along at home if you choose.
For the beauty of the
Our closing words this morning are by John O'Donohue. He says, "May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of the light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life." We give thanks and we go off into this beautiful day to do the work of gratitude and collecting beauty, that we might weave a new fabric of love and justice together in the world. Blessed be, friends. Ashe. Let's go.